SP markalaştırma ve yönetimin kurucusu Sayın Selin Persentili. Kendisini davet etmeden önce özgeçmişini aktarmak istiyorum. SP markalaştırma ve yönetimin sahibi olan Selin Persentili, küresel marka yönetimi danışmanı, girişimci ve sağlık savunucusudur. Persentili'nin New York, Londra ve Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Marrakeş ve İstanbul gibi farklı şehirlerde çalışmak üzere 19 yıllık bir iş tecrübesi bulunmaktadır. WPP mezunu olan Selin Persentili, Y&P markaları, Wonderman ve marka birliği ile küresel ticaret yöneticisi olarak çalışmıştır. Marka yönetimi, bütünleşik haberleşme ve iş yönetimi alanlarında tecrübeye sahiptir. Persentili, finans, teknoloji, telekomünikasyon ve devlet oluşumları olan gayrimenkul alanlarını ve lüks destinasyon pazarlamayı içeren çeşitli endüstrilerden 100 farklı şirketle çalışmıştır. 2010 yılında girişimci ve danışman olarak görev yaptığı esnada Persentili, lüks perakende satış markalarıyla çalıştığı çok markalı online bir işletme ve holding şirketler, hükümet oluşumları, yüksek profilli kar gütmeyen organizasyonlar ve son olarak başlangıç lüks ve hayat tarzı markaları bünyesinde destinasyon markalarıyla çalışan bağımsız bir marka danışmanlığı kurdu. Danışma hizmetleri arasında stratejik marka yönetimi, bütünleşik pazarlama, içerik oluşumu, imgelerinin oluşturulması için fikir yaratma, farkındalık ve şirket alımı yer almaktadır. Bu hizmetler tasarım alanında marka pazarlama materyal yönetimini, film yönetmenlerini, 2D ve 3D tasarımcılarını, mimarları ve fotoğrafçıları bir araya getirerek markayı hayata geçirmeyi içerir. Selin Persentili, fiziksel ve zihinsel sağlık ve zindelik savunucusu olup, meditasyon, farkındalık, yoga ve olumlu psikoloji alanlarında sertifikalara sahiptir. Selin Persentili İstanbul'da doğmuştur. Koç Lisesi ve Virginia Üniversitesi'nde eğitim görmüştür. Şu anda İstanbul ve Londra'da yaşamaktadır. Alkışlarla kendisini davet edelim. Buyurun.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited and happy to be here and share this journey, a part of my life, and branding with all of you. So when we were discussing, they asked me to talk about effective branding. And when I was thinking about effective branding, we need to think about what a brand is. Because many of my clients sometimes come with, I need a logo. So brand is not a logo, it's a living, breathing organism. It's really a life form. And to create that life form, we need to understand the human. It's like creating a human. How does it look? How does it feel? You need to become one. And in order to do that, it's kind of important, it's very important to be in touch with your own feelings, how you feel about it, and become a brand. What does it look? How does it style itself? How does it communicate? And within that, start creating the brand. Okay. So I'll go back to all of these, but in the beginning, when you're creating a brand or any product, if you are part of a corporate, once you graduate, if you're part of a big corporation or starting your own business, you need to really care and love what you're creating. That's where the brand comes from. And you need to think of it as a lifetime. You're not just going to create a brand or a product and then look at this logo and what it's going to do the next year, but really think that you're giving birth to a person and it's going to live forever. Even if you die, the brand is going to stay. That's how it's going to become effective. It needs to have a heart and mind, a soul, a reason of being, and a true purpose. And you're creating an experience. So from the first time you're talking to your customer or yourself, from the first word to the whole, from buying the product, using the product, and communicating, it's a whole experience. The way it sees it, how it smells, the colors, the visuals, everything. And when you're looking at it as a person, you're also going to be thinking about its characteristics, its values. Every act, the verbal and visually, the brand is going to represent that. And when you're creating this brand, because it's a person that you're creating, you have actually incredible power, because with it, you're going to be able to have an impact, power of change in people's behaviors, feelings, and actions on what they do in life. So we're going to go into a little bit of an exercise. I was in New York, working there for 9 years, in between skyscrapers and constantly living in my mind. And then I told myself, okay, I need to get out of it and expand my horizon and start creating and being a part of experiences in different parts of the world. So leaving New York as a woman and going to Abu Dhabi, I found myself in the middle of an island that didn't have anything. It was basically sand. So that's me. I love this picture. So before we go into this experience, I'd like you to imagine yourself as you in that picture. You're in the middle of the sand. There's nothing around you. And we're going to create a little island. Please close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Imagine you're in the middle of this island. The island is called Saadiyat, happiness, the island of happiness. There is nothing but sand around you. You can feel the wind on your skin. And you have the power to create anything you want. Maybe it's rivers flowing, green big mountains, or maybe skyscrapers. Anything you want, start placing them wherever you want. You look up, you see a blue sky. Is it raining? Is it sunny? Is it hot, cold? It's all yours. You're just creating it. And now you start looking around, your eyes closed, it's in your mind you're looking around. There are people around. What are they dressed? Where are they walking? Where are they from? What's the language? How about transportation? Do you see trains? Buses? Are you going around on scooters? Bicycles? Just keep imagining this happiness island. Take a deep breath. Exhale and slowly open your eyes. It's nice to take a little journey. So now, look at the picture again, place yourself in there, and start placing everything you just imagined in your mind's eye onto that picture. And suddenly the island is going to start living. So when I moved to Abu Dhabi, this was Saadiyat Island. They showed it on a map. There was nothing on it. They just said, okay, there's a beach, there's going to be a cultural area, there will be residential villas, a marina with luxury yachts. And that's all. Like, they didn't know what it was going to be about. And they wanted us to brand it, to tell the story of the island, to make it live. So it really became how it's going to live in my mind, how it's going to live in all of our minds, and how are we then going to communicate it visually and verbally so people buy into the idea that this island that doesn't have any roads right now will suddenly start living, that they were actually going to start investing their money and time and move from all around the world to Abu Dhabi to live on the Saadiyat Happiness Island. So we started, there's a structural thinking as well. We started putting colors and districts around it. And we started thinking, what's the vision? So when you're creating a brand, yes, there's a systematic development, but you need to start thinking about what the vision is, how long it's going to live, what do you want to achieve with it? The vision of it's going to be an iconic, exemplary destination for local and global community. So when I moved from New York to Abu Dhabi, everybody was telling me, are you out of your mind? Why are you leaving New York and suddenly going to Abu Dhabi? And we were going to convince people from all around the world to come to Abu Dhabi. So I was kind of thinking about myself, why did I come here? That's how it was going to start convincing people to come. And it was going to increase Abu Dhabi's economic, environment, and social offering, It had to have strong values in sustainability, excellence, and harmony. And what was the pure essence of it? Bow ideal, which means excellence and high standards and everything they do. Why is this important? Why is the promise important? Because everybody who worked on this project, from architects to engineers to marketers to bankers, everyone involved had to buy into the idea of how this island was going to look. And then we started personalizing the island. If it's a person, how does it look? It's dressed in premium, but it's approachable, diverse, alive. How does it speak? What's the tonality? Because when they go into PR releases or any activities, anybody who's talking about Saadiyat Island had to talk from a local pride, have a vision, understated confidence. That's why determining how the speak is going to be in the beginning of the project was very important. And then think, well-considered, intelligent, at the same time idealistic. So everybody, again, from the construction workers to the government entities who were building this island had to buy into this idea. Then we started thinking, okay, if it's a Saadiyat Island, it's a brand wheel, how does the island going, what is the smell of the island? You might be thinking like, this is not like, how is it related? We're going to be putting buildings and hotels on the island. Why is the smell important? Or what's the sound of the island? Again, when you're communicating in different mediums, all of this was going to come into place. Or the drink. What does it drink? What does this island, the personality of it drinks? And now we started putting visual elements around it. If we're communicating on a piece of paper, if we believe in sustainability, the paper had to be really highest quality paper, but it also had to be environmentally friendly, so we had to research that. The premium look, in every communication, the premium look had to come through. And now we went into different districts and started looking into, for each district, culture district, marina district, beach district, and the reserve lagoons where the nature was the highlight. Again, we did the same study for each district. And you can see how it starts to differ from the main brand into going into culture, where it's more vibrant, more lively, and actionable, and the same thing. So I won't go into detail for each one of them, because we have a lot of different examples to go through, but it gives you an idea. And we had to think about who's the person coming to this culture district. Again, remember, it's a sand. We have nobody going there yet. We don't know anything. We're just imagining. And we're imagining that it's the Canadian Lebanese, around 28 years old, currently single, currently living in Dubai, going to come to Abu Dhabi, and she's wearing funky shoes, reading Dazed, loves going around with her girlfriends, having a good time, coming to cultural district, looking into art. So the more you imagine and really start putting this picture, this imagination onto paper, the island starts living on your mind and in all your communications. Then the color palette started coming through. For us, the island started living, and we started defining what is it. It's a pulsing cultural hub for celebrating, innovating arts, the soul upon which the entire fabric of the island is built. We started doing the same for the beach district, the personality, which has coastal, more carefree, more spontaneous, beachside lifestyle, and suddenly the look changes. Remember, the cultural district was more vibrant, lively, and going into the beach concept, the concept and theme, it became more delicate, as if you're looking at sand and living that. Brand wheel, again, thinking about the drink and the activity. And the person living there or visiting biannual family getaway is a Kerim, male, 53, a Turkish descent, raised in GCC. Married with children, and this is the lifestyle he has, the kind of car. At the time, they were using Blackberries. Nobody's using Blackberries now. And the kind of watch that they're using. And the beach comes to life. So, marina. I'll go quickly from this. Marina district was also the business district. It was more male-focused, and where the, in addition to the marina, where the business center was going to take place. So the look and feel of that changed. It was a lawyer maybe living there, currently living in Jumeirah Beach, more income, but reading Monocle. And why thinking about this is more, in the beginning is important. If this person that we're imagining is going to be living in Marina, he's going to be reading at Monocle, which means when we're making our PR plan, we need to contact Monocle and tell them about this project. So when the project launches, we already have a very accurate extremely detailed execution of how it's going to be communicated in marketing communications and PR communications. Retreat went into more higher income. Tiffany, for example, if these people are buying from Tiffany, we can do a co-branded project with Tiffany. And when they go into Tiffany to buy their lovely jewelry, they can also learn about the villas that are going to be built on the island. The reserve was more the local families buying a villa because they were the most expensive, and Abu Dhabi is one of the wealthiest cities in the world. And then the whole island came to life. So it suddenly, from just me walking on the on sand, for us it was a living, breathing island with how it's going to look and feel with the color palette. And Louvre Museum, that's currently on Saadiyat Island right now, just opened its doors so you can visit it. And the Gulf opened, and where you saw the beach picture with nothing but me, it now has St. Regis Hotel people visiting and living there. So and the brand exercise was nearly 6 years ago. So when that was built, it takes a time. That's why I'm saying building a lifetime is important. But let's go to a local example. So Saadiyat Island, we left, and suddenly we're in UK, Richmond, close like half an hour from London. And third-generation coffee houses are extremely popular these days. So a young gentleman decided to open a coffee shop, and he needed to brand it. So what does that mean? Like branding, do I need a logo? What do I do? No, you need an experience, you need a person. What does it stand for? So what is the vision? And we decided that it's going to be an iconic coffee brand that sets new standards for coffee experience in quality, sustainability, and great service. Because I'm a believer in taking care of our earth and ourselves, naturally, every brand project that I work on, I kind of push them to think about sustainability and how it's going to socially impact and better the lives of everyone involved in it. The brand promised exceptional quality, and the values were refined quality, community building, being clean and green living. Every brand partner they worked with supported this, and everything, all the cups ended up being 100% compostable, all the knives were recyclable, everything that was built in the coffee shop ended up being focused on sustainability, which also became a big differentiator. So the personality, again, was thinking about the aesthetics, design, very clean, pure, simple, minimalistic. You will see a packaging example soon that reflects that. And the thinking is well-considered, confident, intriguing, and fun. Because when you think about Kiss the Hippo, nobody really thinks about a hippo and a coffee. But it just gives you like, oh, that sounds fun, I just want to visit it. So it gives that fun feeling to it. And the loving from the heart, because kiss, the word kiss suddenly makes you have that warm feeling of loving feeling. And this was the brand world, how the brand was going to look and feel. It's a bit Scandinavian, Japanese mixed of pure colors, clean, red and white. Red, it's an orange red actually, and it is reflecting kiss and the pure and the clean aspects of it. And then it had a bit of a fun where you actually see the inspiration of the crack that was used on doing, because we end up working with the architects, it was used on building the floors of the coffee shop. And again, so when we're talking about the look and feel, the photography becomes very important. The shop hasn't opened yet, by the way, but we have to think about, I mean, it is open now, but when we're thinking about this, it wasn't open. So you have to think about what the photography style is going to look like. Behind the scenes, we want to share with people, because we're coming from a warm-hearted, we want to share with people the feeling of it. What's happening behind the scenes on Kiss the Hippo. And now it's a lifestyle brand, so what are the people looking like, what's the lifestyle, what are they wearing, how are they living their life, and start sharing that. And then a product, when you walk in, it's actually, hopefully you'll visit it one day in Richmond, UK. When you walk in, it's like an Apple store, but for coffee. It's very clean, white spaces, and everybody is greeting you with a smile, and their outfits is reflecting Kiss the Hippo. The products are reflecting that, and everything is shared that way. From a social perspective, we created this little pin little details make people happy. Little pin that when you buy it, you're actually also sporting clean water in the world, so which is a big problem right now. The brand partnerships, co-partnerships, when you, it's like when you created a person, you're going to have your customers and the relationships that you're going to building, but you also will start thinking about who am I going to partner with? Who thinks like me? So if you have a brand like Kiss the Hippo, we were going to sell waters in the shop, so we started researching all different water brands that thinks and has same characteristics and values that Kiss the Hippo represents. Clear water, and then Palais de Thé is a French brand that actually helped us do the matcha latte for it, so that was very a good match for us. The website look and feel, but the reason I put this here, it hasn't been a year since the shop opened, and they already won a barista championship award. So when the shop was opened, there was a workshop area we created for people come and train to become baristas. In order to set an exemplary and give the exceptional quality that you promised that you're going to do, we thought that it was going to be the best to actually train the people to become the best barista they can be. And in the UK, Barista Championship Award is a huge privilege. And it happened within less than a year. And talking about social media, this is the Instagram. Social media is really one side of building a brand. It's the one tool to communicate who you are. It's not, sometimes people also approach us as like, oh, we have to have a website, we have to have the best Instagram page. It's really just one part of your personality. Yes, you have to use it the most efficient way, and it has to represent you. It has to tell a story. It has to have a value. It needs to be purpose-driven, everything that a brand has. But remember that it's only one part of the puzzle. And then a totally different brand, Else Lingerie, a luxurious brand that was owned by a Turkish couple, but is actually selling globally. When we were thinking about this lingerie, but Turkey is not very known for a lingerie brand. It's usually Italy, France. So when we were thinking about it, how are we going to make a luxury lingerie brand differentiate itself in the world, going global? So becoming an essential part of Modern Women's Day every day is the vision. It's a huge vision because many, what we found from through research as well, many women go for lingerie shopping when it's a special occasion. Whereas we're thinking that it's actually you need to treat yourself in a special way every day. Empowering today's modern woman to embody the femininity on a level that is more personal and intimate, while living inspired. So living inspired means through art, through reading, doing what you love. So the brand suddenly comes out of being a product into a lifestyle and how it lives, and the effortless elegance every day. Craftsmanship, personal passion for beauty, and inspired became the values. How do we look, think, and speak? We became feminine, timeless, modern, confident, personal, and intriguing for the speak part. So when defining this, what is the personality of the brand and the story behind it is, again, important because when we end up talking to like Selfridges or Harrods, Harvey Nichols, big department stores that the brand needs to sell, they want to understand what the brand stands for. What is your purpose? What are you actually delivering us? Yes, they look at the price point, how do you differentiate yourself, but they want to know the story. So it's really important that you end up telling the story of Else, and the spirit of it. So focusing on that, it becomes the effortless elegance, irresistibly feminine, timeless and true, distinctive and personal. It celebrates beauty for every day through a harmonious balance of form and function, style and substance, grace and strength, aesthetics with comfort. Yes, it has a lot of promises, but all the values that a woman actually desires in their life. And this was the mood board. Why the mood board is important is all the things that I have explained, but one additional thing we ended up doing is that in our communication, we started thinking, okay, yes, I have my everyday life, but what actually inspires people is travel. So when you buy Els lingerie, we also started sharing with people travel stories and telling them this is a different travel location that you can go to take your Els lingerie with you. And that's why you see the coloring, the colors of Els, but also different travel destinations, the premium quality, the packaging, and how we're going to be communicating. That's the color palette. The reason I put this here is that it's important to look at primary and secondary colors. The primary colors usually go with the logo, so this is more of the technical information, but it gives that rose foil that you saw at the end, that gives a luxury premium effect in your packaging. And just like the Saadiyat Island, you have to really understand the target audience profile. So we decided, who's that girl? Who's the girl that's wearing Els? Confident, effortlessly elegant. She's comfortable in her skin, knows what she likes, and admires and has a sense of self-awareness. Why is this important? Because once again, when we're looking at the character of this person, we identify ourselves with who the person is. Where is she going to be eating? What magazines is she going to be reading? Who are her friends? What events is she going to be attending? What is she drinking? So really defining that to the detail will help you then plan your marketing efforts, your PR communication, and building the brand awareness. Living authentically, she's on a personal journey. So again, like looking at this, you see that it becomes a soul. The brand has a soul. We're not just showing the product and saying, please buy this, it's great. It's actually making a part of your life. Redefining modern luxury. Getting out of Victoria's Secret and actually recreating this. And then the catalogs, the corporate identity, website. The main one thing is that harmoniously in every act, every word, and every visual, you have to have a harmonious look and feel. So one of the values was craftsmanship. So to support that, we did a little video that we can watch. So the brand is from Istanbul, and we were focused on Istanbul Atelier and how important the craftsmanship is. So for somebody, because we were pushing the importance of craftsmanship, and it is handmade in an atelier in Istanbul, anyone in the world, you'll see a list of stores, it's over 100 stores right now, is walking into Harvey Nichols and then checking out Instagram and then looking at this craftsmanship and the value of delivering something to their door and actually have it in their drawer makes them feel special, that this is handmade. Instagram, social media. In here, you get a sense of the feel of the brand. It's feminine, intimate, personal. We also use people from, some of them are not models. They're actually people who have shared their own pictures. So we're sharing that, telling the story of the brand, sharing different locations that they can travel to. And it becomes the whole story of a life that is actually a lifestyle that is lived around the product. It's been, from a PR perspective, it ended up being mentioned in Vogue, Refinery, Telegraph, Elle.com, People Style, Grazia, and more. The reason I put this here, if you remember in our personality where we had how it speaks, we actually share words with high consciousness with PR, like what words are we sharing with PR people in our PR press releases. So they actually end up writing and using those words and our tonality in their magazines, how they represent us to the world. Otherwise, everybody can talk about a brand or a product in their own way, and suddenly you might see a picture of your own product or your brand presented in a way that you didn't initiate at all. So it's really important how you choose your words, your values, and how you actually end up sharing it with the world. And excitingly, actually, the brand just opened this flagship store in LA, Los Angeles, only last week. Because it was selling wholesale, and suddenly, as you see, the brand, the colors that you've seen in the beginning, the primary colors, the secondary colors, is actually reflected in the way that the store is designed, how the products are placed. So it becomes a whole lovely story. And on the wall, what you saw on a PowerPoint presentation of what the brand profile is ends up being on the wall of the flagship store where people are visiting in Los Angeles, Melrose Avenue. And now it's in 19 countries, over 100,000 luxury boutiques all around the world. So it started with in 2007, a small boutique in Istanbul, and suddenly became a huge worldwide success. From this whole heart and the soul of it, of course, there's a systematic development from a brand development perspective. There's a systematic way and technical way of doing it. I'm not going to go into each of these in detail, but I just wanted to share that, yes, there's a lovely visual world out there when building a brand. Yeah, you need to imagine all these, the senses, how it speaks things, the smells of it, the colors that is associated with it, but the exceptional execution of every detail and well-planning is extremely important as well. There's a setup, there's a research period, the strategy where it's developed, how we're developing the concept. Validation is actually going to research, execution, and evolution. So very quickly mentioning this, in the setup, because yesterday there were a lot of questions about the client relationship. Setup is extremely important. Defining parameters. How does the client define success? Is it based on sales? Is it brand awareness? Each project has its own success metrics. Defining the brief, getting a detailed brief from the client. If they don't really know what they want, and sometimes that is the case, it's brainstorming and taking the words out of their mouth of exactly what they want and building a story out of that. Then there's an audit that we do, which is looking at the market. Are there competitors? What are the competitors are doing in the market, in PR, in marketing, digital media, promotions, co-branded projects? What are they doing? So doing the whole audit, primary, secondary audit. You saw a little bit example of the target audience profiling. In the case of Abu Dhabi, data still is not very strong in that part of the world. So there's a lot of room for your imagination. When you go to New York or London, data is more available. So you can actually match your imagination with the data that is available and see if they're matching. So you're more accurate in profiling your audience. And then there's naming. Sometimes the brands have a name, sometimes they don't, and you have to create a name. That's a whole different project. Then it goes into creative. Validation is taking it out into the market and asking if this makes sense to them. And then it goes into execution of actually doing brochures, websites, social media, Instagram, Facebook. How are we doing marketing ads? How are we communicating all that? How are we going to build our press release? Are there going to be investors? Do we need to do an investor pack? So it goes into all the different communications. But it's extremely important to do the storyline and build the brand strategy and understand your soul, your mind. When I say your, it's the brands. So you can then present it with every detail thought through to the world, and there is no ambiguity. And then you can keep tracking of your brand for many, many years and see with an entrepreneur mind, because when you're creating a brand, no matter if you're in the corporate world, Citibank, AT&T, or you're a startup, you need to always have an entrepreneur mind to keep flexibility and adjust it based on your learnings and research. So with a little summary, always care and love. Think of it as a lifetime. Reason of being and purpose. a life form that is ever growing. It's a life form, it's a living organism. The brand is become it. It's the look of it, the thought pattern, personality and values, the holistic experience, the harmonious look and feel in every word, every visual, every act, and exceptional execution. Building relationships around it, brand engagement, having brand ambassadors. Once you launch a brand, who is going to represent you? And we've been talking about some privacy. Again, if it's a person, you have to think about the brand's privacy, the social side, business side. How are you going to manage the financial side of it, the money relationship? If you're selling the product, if somebody wants to return it, what is going to be the relationship is like? So it's incredibly actually fun experience, and because you're creating a person, and that can affect other people's behaviors, feelings, and outlook to life. So when you get engaged in your own product one day, maybe, your own brand, or if you become a part of a corporation, and you take the responsibility of making that corporate brand feeling like it's your own, give it some spark of life. Like, give it purpose. Make sure it has a soul. And don't just imagine that we need to sell this product. Like, just imagine. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much to Selin Persentili for giving an excellent speech on branding, which is my area of interest as well, as I'm working on branding too. I have 3 questions myself, and then I'm going to welcome student questions. I asked the same question yesterday to people who are working on agencies, who are actually doing branding work on a small scale. But if a company approaches you, or as a person, with a certain strategy, do you adjust their strategy to yours, or do you adjust your strategy to them? How do you look at this?
So it would be actually building a strategy for whatever we're creating. So it wouldn't be for them, because everybody has their own personal thought of what is best for the brand or what is best for the product. But we need to put ourselves in the place of the brand. So how is the brand going to live? What's the best for the brand? Building a strategy around that. And what I found most helpful is running a bit of a workshop, a brainstorm workshop with everybody who's involved, so they feel a part of it, and nobody feels forced that somebody is saying that this is what the strategy needs to be. Because in behavioral-wise, when somebody says that you have to do this, or this has to be the strategy, and I'm going to start pulling you to my end, and you're going to start pulling me, no, people get cold. They don't end up loving the brand. But if they're involved and we're all building it together, then it becomes like, oh, I'm a part of this, and what is best for this brand, then it becomes helpful.
I know for a fact that you have been working on branding, not in different countries, but in different continents.
Yes.
So how does culture affect branding strategies? Do you have different approach to every culture? And what was the most challenging branding work you've ever done in those cultures?
In Turkey, it's always the most challenging.
Is it?
No. Actually, most challenging is the most fun part, I think, working in different cultures, because every culture brings something new to the table. So it's understanding that, what it brings to the culture, what's the values and insights they're bringing, then adds value to the brand that we're creating. So it's from a challenge perspective, I actually feel more comfortable when there are different countries involved in one project than only one perspective involved. If it's only one perspective, it becomes more difficult to open it up. And I'm always about open up your horizon, look up to the sky, think differently, expand. And it's easier to expand it when there are different cultures in the room.
And I guess you have a team of people that you work with when you're creating a branding strategy.
Yes, definitely.
What is the most effective platform for effective branding? Obviously, digital is becoming quite trendy, but conventional media, the IMC methods are still popular. Your personal opinion, what is the method and the platform for effective branding?
Platform, there's not one platform. I think there's depends on what you're creating. If it's an island, and then the platform you're going to bring the brand to life is going to be different. Maybe you might expose it in an architectural exhibition, so it's going to be different. But the where you create the brand is actually a group of people who come together, envision it, dream it together, and then bring it to life based on research. I wouldn't say digital is the way to go, or traditional. It's more about what is your product, where is your target audience, how are they behaving in life, and what's the best way to bring it to life.
To go forward.
Yes.
Yesterday, Deniz Malengru and Umut Aral talked about certain skills
Yes.
for people to be effective in the field they're working on. Do you have any suggestions on those skills for effective branding for people who'd like to work on effective branding?
Travel.
Travel.
Get out of your comfort zone. Because branding is about building horizons and visions, and it's, again, you're creating something hopefully for a lifetime. So for that to happen, you need to be open-minded, really, really open-minded for long-term thinking, open-minded to how much more can I expand this thinking. So that's one thing. Get out of the comfort zone, move to different countries, travel, work hard, imagine. Work hard is definitely very important. Being open to working with different kind of people. Because like you said, bringing a brand to life is you're working with media, has a different mindset. You're working with creative people, very different mindset. You're working with a product developer. Mostly the clients are either product developers or engineers. When you start thinking to them, imagine your brand is like a person. What is it wearing? They're looking at you like, are you out of your mind? Like, I'm in engineering. Like, I don't want to think about the senses or the smells or the colors. So you need to be open to working with different kind of people and really listen. Listening is very important.
And combine what other people think and then express that on a brand. Yes, we already have questions. Moving forward, yes, please, the lady. Yes. Can we please give the microphone? Could you please introduce yourself and your department and ask questions?
Yes, my name is Lucine.
Hello,
I'm from PR and advertising. It's something I've been wanting to ask. When you want to advertise, what is it exactly that makes an advertisement very different and special and persuasive? How can you say that this is a successful advertisement? Because there's so many and there's so much competition. And what are the factors that can make an advertisement stand out?
Insight is incredibly important. You need to know who you're trying to reach, get an insight into their mind. So whatever you're putting out there becomes like a solution to them, and they can relate to it. So I would say insight.
The number and statistics. Yes, please.
Yes, my name is Luay. I'm from Public Relations and Advertising Department. I want to ask a question. So when it comes to promoting and marketing a brand, do you believe that a company should take a risk and vertically integrate in their products, or they should avoid the risk and stay with their own products targeting a specific type of people?
Integrated marketing is always like, don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of thinking. Yes. So again, depends on your objective, what your success metric is. So for example, if you're Gap, the retail store, and you need to build your image you need to build a total different image. Actually, let's say Burberry, they changed their image 5-6 years ago. So in order to build your image, I would say focus on brand awareness campaigns, because you need to tell people, I have changed, I have grown, I'm younger now maybe, or I'm more focused on detail, I'm using different fabrics. So in that case, you're going to be focused on brand awareness channels. But if you're launching a credit card with a bank, then you're going to be focusing on direct marketing, because people are it's more specific. You need to tell them details about this is the percentages you're going to get. So they're going to be looking at different, very detailed information. And in that case, go for direct marketing. So it depends on your product, what you want to achieve, what your success metrics is.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes, we have a question there.
Hello, I'm Emmanuel from International Relations.
Oh.
and I would like to know your idea of an ideal client and how you relate with them.
An ideal client?
Yeah, what will you say is an ideal client?
Ideal client who believes in the betterment of mankind.
Yes.
I really say this. For me, that's an ideal client, because for me, what's personally important is whatever we do in life has an impact on the betterment of the humankind, the nature, earth, and everything. So for me, an ideal client doesn't just come to me based on, this is my product, I want to sell it, and of course it's going to be an objective. You're a business, you have to run, you need to earn money, all that's taken for sure. But there's a passion and soul inside, and there always is. Something is, I've been working with startups a lot, and there's something happened in their childhood. There's always goes into their life. There's the relationship there with their family, something happened in their life, something in the present, something a relationship thing, and they decided that I'm going to just start this. And finding what that story is, and relating to on that point, and then building it on a purposeful reason is an ideal client.
Adding something to that question, I know for a fact that you're a lifestyle experiment.
Yes.
You're an expert on lifestyle, and you're an yoga instructor as well.
Thank you.
And Adidas is producing shoes. They collect from the sea and they recycle it from plastic. So how is your approach to brands and social responsibility projects? Because I think that's an important. Is that a trend in the world, and how do you think it should be implemented?
Yes, and some brands do use it as a, I mean, you will find people in the business who are doing it because they know it's a weak point in people's life, and they're using it to, it's like donating money to certain charities. You want to make look good to the world, so they're doing it from that perspective. Some of them are doing it because they truly believe in it. I look at it as an end result. No matter where they're coming from, if they're making it for the betterment, and if it's helping the environment to humans, like, sure, why not do it? And it's going to increase more and more, because people, actually, the wellness industry is incredibly growing, and people are looking into, like, okay, I'm buying this product, but I'm giving my money, something from my life to that product. What is it doing for me? And it shouldn't be just a functional reason, but in the bigger picture.
Do you make it part of your branding strategy as well? Do you always offer it to your clients?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I try not to brainwash them, but yes.
Nice. We have a question there. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Ma, for the presentation. I have two questions, basically. You know, when you were talking about the coffee shop, where you said no pictures were taken yet, but you had a presentation on how you wanted the pictures to be taken and everything. So my question goes like this. I wanted to know how you handle copywriting, and being a branding agency, you might use mock-ups to present some things to clients at times. So I wanted to know how you handle copywriting and mock-ups at the same time when you're presenting things to like big companies you're presenting or doing works for.
Presenting, or how for the photography style, how we're using images?
Yes,
like there's a pitching part. Like first, there's a proposal. We give a proposal to the client. Within that, the images we use is that either we own the images or we say where we're buying the image. But for the clients to use the images, usually the photographer is hired so they can use those photos for themselves and have all the rights. You have to make sure that the copyright and the right is signed. They have.
Okay, thank you very much. And then one more thing, because from your story and from everything you've shown us today, it shows that you've really traveled around and have done designs in different continents and everything. Now, if looking into graphic design today, you see that for different countries, if you look at design trends, based on culture, based on tradition, like the kind of designs you see in Istanbul or the kind of designs you see in the US, they sometimes vary and differ. So I wanted to know personally how you're able to, for a brand that is, like you said something, you said it's more difficult when you're doing a brand that is in just one place than universal things. So I wanted to know can you give me, like, how you implement, like for brands that are more global and are in different, diverse cultures and places, how you try to implement them together? Research
is very important. And everyone, again, we might be from different cultures, different countries. We might have some different values, but at the end, we're all humans, and humans wants to be inspired. So when you walk into a room, if the graphic designers have a certain way of doing something, because of their education, they learn it that way, they like it learning that way. But if you suddenly like do some research and bring some ideas to the table, not forcing the ideas, but like saying, what about these? Like, can we take a look at them? Would this work? Would that work? People, they're very open. Everybody's open. Like they like new ideas. Everybody wants to grow actually in their essence. Everybody wants to learn. So I would handle it in a way of actually doing your research, looking at different ways or different designs all around the world, how different brands are doing it, and then thinking about, can this be applied in our local market? And without trying to force it, but finding a way that the local market would understand it, bringing a different spark of life to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'll have to stop here today. Ms. Selin Persentili is going to be here around for further questions. We have to take the lunch break, and then we're going to be back here sharp at 2 o'clock for 3 more presentations. Please do not miss the opportunity. And at 5 o'clock, we have a draw for our flight tickets and Turkcell Awards. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
And we have a small reminder from Eastern Mediterranean University. On behalf of the university,